Today, we're diving deep into the holy month of Ramadan. But we're going beyond just the fasting part. We're going to explore the incredible, almost cosmic shifts that are said to happen during this time. You see, this isn't just about personal discipline, it's about a complete recalibration of the entire spiritual universe. So, let's get into it. Okay, so this one powerful statement, it's really the key to everything we're going to talk about. It sounds super dramatic, right? Almost like poetry. But according to the classical commentaries we're looking at, this isn't a metaphor. It's meant to be a literal description of events happening in the heavens. We're going to unpack every single piece of this to see what it all really means. So, where do we even begin? Well, how about with the name itself? Why is it called Ramadan? The answer holds the first big clue to understanding the unique power of this month. It's not just some random name on the calendar. The word itself tells you almost everything you need to know about its purpose. So the name gives us our first clue. Ramadan actually comes from a root word that means intense, scorching heat. Based on this, scholars came up with this really powerful analogy. Ramadan is a spiritual furnace. Now that might sound a little harsh, right? But think about it. What do furnaces do? They don't just destroy, they purify, they refine, and they transform. And what's really cool is that this spiritual furnace is said to operate in 3 stages, meeting you exactly where you're at. For someone carrying a lot of sin, its heat is meant to burn away all those impurities, kind of like cleansing dirty, rusty iron. For someone who's already on the right path, it shapes and strengthens them, forging them into something even more useful. And for the most pious, well, it's like a final polish, a refining process that makes them pure like gold. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of that opening quote, because this is where things get really big. We're talking about the opening and closing of the gates. This is where we zoom out from our own personal transformation to a massive cosmic one. And here's the crucial point from the sources. This is meant to be taken literally. It's not just a nice way of saying everyone's in a more spiritual mood. No, the claim is that the actual metaphysical gates of heaven and hell physically open and close. The consequences of this are just immense. With heaven's gates thrown open, divine mercy said to flow down to earth completely unobstructed. The beings in paradise actually become aware of who's fasting and join in prayer for them. And on the flip side, with hell's gates shut tight, its heat is completely contained. And this has a stunning implication. The sources say the torment of the grave is suspended, paused, for the entire month. And that's a break that extends even to non-believers. It's a total universal shift. This brings us to the most fascinating and, let's be honest, the most confusing part of the statement. If the forces of evil are literally locked up, then why do bad things still happen? Why do people, still sin? Let's just put the question right out there, because it's the one that everybody asks. If the devils, the external source of temptation, are completely taken out of the picture, then what's left? Where do all those negative thoughts and impulses come from? And here is the profound answer from the sources. The whispers and temptations don't come from the devil anymore. They come from within us, from what's called the nafs amara, or the commanding self. It's that part of our own soul that leans towards our base desires and doing wrong. So you can think of Ramadan as a kind of divine diagnostic tool. By silencing the external enemy, it forces a direct confrontation with our internal one. The whole battleground shifts. Any sin, any negative thought, any bad habit that keeps showing up during this month, well, you can't blame it on an outside force anymore. Ramadan basically holds up a mirror to our own soul and shows us exactly where we need to put in the work. Okay, so with that whole idea in mind, how does this all come together in practice? The sources present this really beautiful symmetry, a perfect balance between what God gives us during this month and what we're asked to do in return. It's like a perfect balance sheet. On one side, you have these 5 divine gifts that come down during Ramadan: mercy, love, a guarantee, security, and light. And on the other side, it asks for 5 key acts of worship: the fast itself, the special nightly prayers, spiritual retreat, worshiping on the night of power, and of course, reciting the Qur'an. Each act of worship is specifically designed to attract one of those divine blessings. So when you put it all together, you see that Ramadan is so much more than just not eating and drinking. It's a complete spiritual system, a month that's designed to purify your soul in a divine furnace, all while the cosmos is flooded with mercy and evil is restrained, just so you can have an honest, direct confrontation with yourself. And that leaves all of us with one final, powerful question to think about. If you could remove all the external excuses, all the outside whispers, and you're just left alone with yourself for 30 days, what do you see? What does the sacred silence of Ramadan reveal about you?